Hello, my name is I.C. Jackson, and I'm here today to respond to a comedy sketch performed by the Second City Network and published by the Huffington Post entitled Black Republican. I have to say that it was hilarious, but for totally different reasons than what you're perpetuating or what you might think. What's actually funny about this video is that it's supposed to be parodying the bigotry in the Republican Party, and it really only reveals the real bigotry of the liberals who are behind. First, let's start with the write-up from the Huffington Post about the video, okay? It says, in the age of Obama, there just aren't as many young black Republicans as there are Democrats. Always the ones to challenge political cliches, the Second City Network made this sketch parodying the plight of the young black Republican and what the party needs to do to branch out. In a meeting of vibrant young GOP minds, we meet the club's single black member. As you can imagine, he's tired of being the only one and gives a pretty inspirational speech on the importance of seeking more diverse members. According to him, white people not clapping on the downbeat is half the problem. I'm real. I can keep it real. I can laugh at myself. I can laugh at what's really funny. However, what's not funny about this parody is that it only perpetuates the worst stereotypes, both against black Americans and the Republican Party. So I am a black Republican, but I'm offended as a black American and as a Republican separately because the bigotry perpetuated in this sketch applies to both. So let's start with the bigotry against black Americans. There are strong implications in this sketch that you have to be cool or something has to be cool in order for it to be relevant to black people or interesting to black people because, you know, since the Republican Party isn't cool, that's why it's not attractive to black Americans or to most black Americans because there are black Republicans everywhere. I'm one of them. Then there's the idea that in order to successfully advertise to black Americans, you have to somehow integrate hip hop music into what you're doing because clearly we all love hip hop music. And that's all we really understand. We communicate to each other in beatboxes. Did you know that? Yeah, so you gotta hip hop it up to be able to advertise anything to us from, you know, unhealthy fast food to political ideology. Throw hip hop in it, we're good. You want to recruit black people to the Republican Party? Throw on some Jay-Z because clearly that's all we're about anyway, right? Oh yeah, and then we all eat McDonald's too because you can't resist McDonald's, not if you're black. Those things were highly, highly offensive to me. And it's true that the culture of the Republican Party tends to be more European or Caucasian American, if you will, but they happen to make up the majority of the membership. That's not weird or even bad for black Republicans. As the party begins to naturally diversify, so will the music they play at the national convention. That's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. However, that's why black Republicans, you know, are unhappy because they're not hip-hopping it up at the Republican National Convention. Oh yeah, that's our biggest concern. The idea that all black Republicans dress a certain way, this stereotypical image of the Carlton Banks black Republican, it's very offensive. I'm a black Republican and I don't dress like that unless I think it's appropriate. All of his white peers were casually dressed like regular college students. But of course, the black Republican, who's always pandering to white Republicans and trying to impress them and let them know that he's just as good as them, has to show up as if he's on his way to work or church. You know, thoroughly dressed from head to toe, shirt and tie and a vest and dress slacks. Oh, we don't wear anything else. Of course. Why? That's what black Republicans do. So now you have two convenient boxes to put all black people in. The Ghetto Project hip-hop black people and the Brooks Brothers black people who tend to pander to white conservatives because that's why they're Republicans anyway, for white approval, right? Did you watch the video? Did you pay attention to that? Were you not offended by that? And isn't it really funny how the people behind the video are claiming that it's the Republican Party that's bigoted? Now on to what offends me as a Republican of any race. You remember in the beginning of the video when the sole black member says that he came out to the other black members, and then all of the white Republicans gasped, and then he had to clarify that he came out as a Republican? All Republicans are not homophobes, and I don't even like that term, because most people who are against homosexuality, and more importantly homosexual legislation, are not afraid of homosexuals at all. It's not a phobia. It's a disapproval, not a phobia. But since, the left likes to use the term homophobe, all Republicans are not homophobes. As a matter of fact, there are lots of openly gay Republicans. And my opinion on homosexuality isn't even important here. It's the bigoted implication that an entire political party is against homosexuals and homosexuality, to the point where they gasped and prepared themselves to ostracize him simply because they thought he might be gay. That's not funny at all. That's not funny. Then there's the idea that white Republicans don't know any black people. I'm sure there are lots of white Republicans that don't know any black people, just like I'm sure there are lots of white liberals that don't know any black people. We're a minority in this country, and it's possible to live your life and not personally know a black American. That doesn't make you a bigot. That doesn't necessarily contribute to bigotry. And it certainly doesn't mean that you might be a Republican. Might be a liberal too. Might be an independent. It has nothing to do with political ideology, but to connect the two as if Republicans are somehow more bigoted than other Americans. It's laughable. That is funny. Especially since it's clear that the true bigotry and racism lies with the liberals who thought this up. And then the liberals who laugh at this and spread this. Look at the comments on the YouTube video. You don't see that that's totally racist? Like, one of the most popular comments, because it got more thumbs up than other ones on the actual YouTube video, is someone laughing at the part where he says, I'm egging it. What? I'm egging it. That is so racist. And the fact that that's one of the most liked comments is quite revealing. And I doubt very seriously it's a lot of white Republicans giving it the thumbs up, or black Republicans, because we wouldn't think that was funny. I appreciate the Second City for making this parody sketch. I appreciate the Huffington Post for publishing it, because it only reveals and proves the intense bigotry that lies on the left. And I really just need liberals to stop perpetuating this idea that the Democratic Party is the party of racial diversity just because most black Americans vote Democrat. Absolutely not. The reason that most black Americans vote Democrat, well, the reasons are very complex and multi-layered. You can visit www.the-urban-counterculture.com and visit our forum and actually read some commentary on why black Americans tend to vote Democrat. That's something we discuss on that forum. But it's not because the Democratic Party is the party of racial diversity. That's not why. If it were, the Democratic Party and members of the Democratic Party, or those who support the principles of the Democratic Party, would never make such a horribly racist video or promote it and encourage other people to laugh at it. It's not funny at all.